Welcome to the first episode of Let's Get Talking with Dessy. Today on the show, we're talking tourism in the Central region, more so in Cape Coast. And I have with me Mr. Michael Olins. He's the CEO of Torchlight Tours and also a tour guide, and also Obobi Onisifor Sofori. He's a broadcast journalist and a tourism and entertainment blogger. We're talking about the potential of Cape Coast when it comes to tourism. We know that a lot of people from all over the world come to Cape Coast, and last year, the year of return, saw lots of them here in the region and more so as this metropolis. So that's what we're discussing. My name is Desmond Okraku Danso. We're coming to you from Sahara Bar here in Cape Coast. So let's get right into it. You're welcome to the show.
Thank
Michael Olins.
Yes.
And Obobi Onisifor.
Okay, good.
It's great to have you on the show. This is the first episode of the show, and I'm really grateful that you joined me to talk about this. So let me start with you, Mr. Owens. Cape Coast. Over the years, have we positioned ourselves as a real tourism hub, or is it just a name that we have to ourselves as a tourism hub?
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Your question is a broad one. It will take a whole day too, but I will make it short. What I would say yes and no, because Cape Coast is still the tourism hub of Ghana. Because when you look at the statistics and the number of foreigners who come to Ghana and those who made their way to visit Cape Coast, you can clearly see that Cape Coast is still the hub of tourism. But as to whether we have positioned ourselves very well over the years, adding few more tourism enterprise to the existing one, no, we have not really done well on that aspect. Because we still have Cape Coast Castle, we still have our sisters, that's the Elimina Castle, we still have the Kakum National Park. We have not really developed very well in terms of even our beach line, which makes Cape Coast Cape Coast. We have not really done well over the years. So I would say yes or no on the area of we being the tourism hub. Yes, we are, but we have not really developed our potentials in tourism. Yes, few are calling for even museums and the rest to adapt to what we have, but we have not really done well on that aspect.
I'll let you continue. I would ask you, same, Obobi, have we positioned ourselves?
Well, honestly, Desmond, for me, it's a big no, because I feel there's a lot of potential here in Cape Coast. Although we've been given the accolade as the hub of tourism, I feel there's a lot that needs to be done.
But don't the numbers count? I mean, in 2017, over 70,000 tourists came to the region.
Yes,
also.
because it's like that's the brand we have. But the question is, have we maximized the potentials here? There are a lot of tourist sites that Desmond, I think that a lot of people, or even some of the stakeholders in the tourism industry, are either not aware or have turned a deaf ear, or perhaps for some unknown reasons have not given much attention. There's a military cemetery here. You could also talk of Queen Elizabeth when she came to Cape Coast. There are a lot of things about her, and even there's a statue in honor of her, and then even some of her family, Victoria Park and all that, the past and all that. The question is, how many people know about this Victoria Park? How did the name Victoria Park come about? Even generally academically, we've given less attention to these things.
Even now it's called Jubilee Park. Yeah,
so
very big distorted history.
Yeah. So you get it. So already the existing things that could at least boost our industry is not there. Someone comes all the way from wherever he or she is coming from, visits the castle, visits both castles, Elmina and Cape Coast, goes to Kakum, and almost as if he or her tourism activity is almost done. Meanwhile, there is the Mitimaze Palace, which holds a lot of history. And you can never take away history from tourism. So, Desmond, until we are able to tap into some of these monuments, some of these rich sites, this rich history, I would say that even the name tourism hub should be stripped of us.
But I mean, Obobi, growing up, I mean, and I'm sure that viewers out there would agree that growing up, we heard of the castles, the Kakum National Park, I mean, some amazing places here in Cape Coast. So at least we've had something for ourselves as a tourism hub.
We are still, we are still the home, but the issue is we have not developed our fully potential. Like it was basically mentioned, a lot of sites that virtually is dying. Cape Coast, as a tour guide, I term Cape Coast as a walking museum. Every place, every suburb in Cape Coast, there is history. There's something that can turn into a tourism enterprise.
So you are a tour guide. Tell me, what are some of the things that you hear the tourists who come here and say? Tell me about the good ones first, and then we move to the other ones.
Well, basically they see our potentials. They think Cape Coast is really a place to be because there's quite a lot they can do. Just that it's not developed. We have on Sport Beach, and also there are some places you take them, it amazes them. Like he was mentioned, there's a lot that we can do. The cemetery museum, you know, has it's a burial site for one of the great Africans. I'm talking about Jacob Wilson-Say, which for me, I would say that he's a founding father of our nation, because Jacob Wilson-Say won our independence and sovereignty for us decades before we had our independence in 1957. Remember, at a point, British wanted to pass the law called the Land Bill. And the Land Bill at a point was going to have the traditional seize all the traditional lands. And you know, Ghana, there are more stool land than the government land. So if that had happened, today Ghana would have been elsewhere. We'll be living in our own country, but we will not have that freedom and liberty. Because anytime a land is taken away from you, you don't have any heritage, because you cannot pass on anything to your children or your descendants. That is what Jacob Wilson-Say did. That is the Aborigine right protection. He, from his own pocket, organized great lawyers at the time, Mr. Salba and the rest, financed their journey to England to petition the Queen at the time, that is Queen Victoria, that no, that cannot be done. After several weeks and months of deliberation, finally the Queen Victoria gave a verdict that they cannot have our land. And as a token of a verdict, that is where she gave a bust, which is now planted at the Victoria Park, now the Jubilee Park, as a sign of she agreeing that the land of Ghana or the Gold Coast would not be seized to the Europeans at the time. So that one act, for me, gave us our sovereignty and liberty that we enjoy today. So Jacob Wilson-Say, he was the first Ghanaian millionaire. So such a person has his burial site at the European military cemetery. It's a major historical burial site that we can add up to our tourism enclave. Just beside it is Pitman. Pitman is the first commercial school in Ghana. Just beside it, we can talk about first West African Court of Appeal in the whole of West Africa during the colonial era. That is where it's become like a Supreme Court. Everywhere between the British colony in West Africa, that is their high court. Any case, that is where it will come. Now it's no more function because we have this court. Just beside it, you can talk about Frekwaku. Frekwaku was the first boys' school in Ghana. Or in Frekwaku today, the state of the house dilapidating. See, so there is a lot that we can do, and this one can add up to our tourism potential. It doesn't take much. Today we have narco people there. We have people doing their service. The tour operators, we can trade them. Just place one person there. This building there is a major tourist attraction. Methodist Church. This is the first Methodist church in Ghana. Go inside and check. When you go to Togo, Lomé, one of their major attractions is the Catholic Cathedral, the German Catholic Cathedral. When you go inside this church, it's almost the same. Have we turned this church into a museum or turn it into a tourism attraction?
You'd continue with how we can, make things work better for us as a region when it comes to tourism. But we've also moved around with a lot of tourists, and I also want to hear from you. When you speak to tourists, when they come and you move with them, what are some of the things that they say to you are the reasons why they are here in Cape Coast?
Obviously, one of the things they really recommend about Ghana is our peaceful nature. We are welcoming, and then the whole surrounding of Ghana. And Desmond, sometimes they talk a great deal about, to some extent, their ignorance, the sort of ideas, things they thought they knew about Ghana. But when they come and then they see the extent of, to some level, development, things that go on here, and then even sometimes the human capacity whom they've met, how they reason and all that, knowing particularly that Cape Coast was a hub or is the hub of education where most of the top-notch A schools, when it comes to senior high level, is, then obviously this should tell you that when they come here and they get to know that, of course, this is where knowledge was born, because the beginning of civilization, Ghanaian civilization, started here in Cape Coast. Beginning of Ghanaian education started here in Cape Coast. Beginning of Ghanaian entertainment industry, theater, film, all began here in Cape Coast. So this is a town full of rich experience, historical background that people outside have tapped in. But unfortunately, on the other side, when they come here, they've read so much, but they do not see semblance sometimes of what they've read, the good things they've read about us over here. And that's one thing that I think is on the low side when the tourists come here.
So last year was a great year for Ghana. 2019, the year of return, and you can see Michael's shirt there. Yeah, the year of return. A lot of foreigners came into the country to see Ghana, what they've read about the country, the tourist sites, and definitely you can't come to Ghana and say you won't come to Cape Coast. So we have lots of people coming here. Notably you can talk of T.I., the American rapper. Ludacris was here, Steve Harvey was here, Popcorn, a number of them were here. So it looks like the name as a tourism hub is there, but as a people, when you get into Cape Coast as a town, as a city, well, whichever one you may use, you particularly may not feel the ripple effect of this hub that we have on the lives of the people. And I'm talking about the fact that the Central Region is still part of the poorest, regions in the country. How do we turn this around using our main export, or what we are noted for, that is tourism, to turn the lives of the people of Cape Coast around?
Okay, so like you said, last year was a great year. The year of return brought in a lot of visitors. I would say brothers and sisters from the diaspora. They came to reconnect with us, and it was very good for us. But Cape Coast, the year of return had two major clamors. Pan-Africans. December was Afro-China and Afro-Nation. In August, there was 5,000 African Americans in Ghana. Just close around 1,000 came to Cape Coast. Some spent just a night and go back. The whole of hotels in Cape Coast and Elmina was full. So some could not even get a place to stay. I had a group who wanted to stay, but they couldn't because few of the good hotels were all full.
It's not just about the fact that our tourist sites have probably not been upgraded to certain levels.
Yeah.
Also,
accommodation.
The other things, including hotels.
I'm telling you, if today Just yesterday also, government together with the Ghana Tourism Authority director signed a deal with Afro Nation to host Afro Nation in Ghana for 5 years. That's quite a good news. So, my brother, let's say for 5 years, Cape Coast, we can lobby with Afro Nation and say, okay, your program is 5 days or 4 days. Can you do 2 days in Cape Coast? That will guarantee 2,000 or 3,000 people coming to Cape Coast. Where would they sleep? Cape Coast, we can't host 3,000 people to stay in 4 or 5-star hotel. These are people with their money, they want luxury. They will not come and be in budget hotels and guest out. If today, Afro Nation, they are kind with us, okay. Cape Coast is the major tourism hub. So we are moving the program, 2 days of the program from Accra to Cape Coast to be a program. There will not be a place for them to lodge. How many 5-star, 4-star hotels we have in Cape Coast? There's no 4-star, there's no 5-star. Bridge Royal is 3-star.
I think the GTA takes. I mean, they're in charge of this.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they take the monies, definitely. The monies that come in, and all they charge.
You mean the money from the castle?
And all of these, they are in charge of all of them.
Where that is separating, that is being managed by Ghana Museum and Monument Board. Yeah.
But if all of these monies are coming, because they can quote 1 billion, year of return is bringing us about 1 billion.
Yeah.
And then we are not seeing that money.
Yeah, I mean, I would say sometimes information also become a key because NAACP brought 300 African Americans to the Cape Coast Castle in August. How many people heard or knew about it? I'll get the full name for you. If you know, you could just make a shirt with their name, visit Cape Coast Castle, and they will just buy it. So sometimes to information and how we position ourselves as a people during the year of return and how we quickly catch the concept and start doing things for ourselves, because the government or the authority cannot always be telling us what to do. If even you are selling water at a castle from January to December and you do it very well, you can see the profit you get, because the normal increases and people who come obviously will need some of it's a consumable, so they will surely consume, and at the end of the day you make your money. So I would think that they have done their best. It's about the time that I think all of us has to come together and have a proper, detailed tourism plan for Cape Coast.
I think with what you just said, we as individuals too, we also have a part to play. So, for instance, when it comes to tourism here, I've realized that there is nothing like a nightlife for the tourists here. Only for a few groups, like let me mention some names. Afro that dance troupe. Sometimes they perform in the evenings for some of these tourists. So, nightlife and tourism here is not well, how do you call it, amalgamated. There's that marriage is not there. There's that bondage lacks too. Even food tourism, we could even create a place specifically where foreigners or tourists could even be a Ghanaian, could come and learn, practice how to prepare, let's say, etel, fante, enjoy, cooking lessons, drum lessons. So it could even be just one place where a barrage of activities are going on. You move from one point. So today, on our schedule, we are going to teach you some local Ghanaian dishes. Today, we are teaching you some local so yes, and I think these are things that even if GTA, Ghana Tourism Authority, or other stakeholders do not come on board, as individuals, we could look at the resources we have and implement some of these things.
Beyond the return, just as the president put it, beyond the return, 2020 and beyond. How do we? What are the steps? Let's talk up. Let's make them specific. You know, the plans to turn things around beyond the return.
Last year is the year of return. They have returned. What else again? So the beyond of return is now looking at a different approach where we can have our brothers and sisters to sort of come on board more in terms of development, in terms of investment, in terms of they coming with their human resource capacity to complement what we have. We want to engage them in trade, engage them in different perspectives, which will bring development to us and Africa in general. So I think it's a very good call because a lot of them will come and will love to have some form of business to do, but it becomes very cumbersome, very difficult for them, not knowing where they have to go, the bureaucratic process they have to go through. So if today the government initiative of Beyond the Return focus on the trade investment where our brothers and sisters come in with their monies to invest in areas which will bring development to our nation. I think it's very good, and they have to make it very easy and friendly for them to access information and the areas of interest that they want to invest in. They just have to make things very easy for them as the call has come.
I think over here to the traditional leaders would play a very big role. If there are available lands, which I know in some traditional areas we do, they should make it available for some of these things. Because some have done, yes. Because I think here in Cape Coast we can only boast of two factories. I mean Sangari and then the Bob factory. I think once they are coming down for the Beyond the Year of Return, we could do more in that aspect now too, as individuals, to how do we also position ourselves to form these collaborations. You get it? So if as a startup, what are you thinking of? Are you always thinking of trade, buying and selling? No, you could also think along tourism, so that when they come, you sell these ideas to them. You could form part, because now that's the thing. I can't do it on my own. I can't do it on your own, because starting up is very difficult. So you form partnerships. The little I have and the little you have, we come together, we do it, and then we set boundaries, set rules, make sure we adhere to it, because we have a common goal. And at the end of a certain period, we realize that all the sacrifices that we've put into it, sacrifices that we've made and all that, will yield very good results.
What we can also do as a people, as government is now putting our Beyond the Return, focusing on investments and trade, can Cape Coast put up an industrial business exhibition center whereby our brothers and sisters who will come to Cape Coast can go and have a look and see the tourism, business, industrial potential, so that they can connect with other stakeholders and bring in their investment.
And some good news coming in. I understand some Hungarian investors came to town, surveyed the place, and definitely some good news coming in.
We need more of that.
More of them, lots of the investors.
We need to position ourselves. Not, I learned these people came merely because they have some connection with online, but we need to position ourselves as Cape Coast. Can we have an exhibition center which will exhibit our industrial business potential, whereby visitors coming in who have business ideas can walk in to see areas that they can connect in terms of investment.
Okay. All right. So this is where we would end the conversation on tourism here in the Central Region, and the focus also being on Cape Coast, how we can turn things around for us as a metropolis, as a hub of tourism, as we say, because the numbers do talk for themselves. Lots of people coming in, but then we getting the monies, are the people benefiting from all of these. So thank you very much, Mr. Michael Ollins, for joining me on the first episode of Let's Get Talking with Dessy and Obobi on this program. Michael Ollins is the CEO of Torchlight Tours and also a tour guide, and also Obobi Onisifrosofori is a broadcast journalist and also tourism and entertainment blogger. Thank you so much for joining me. Let me say a few thank yous going out to Sahara Pap, we are in Cape Coast, and also to Westcam Media, Joshua Skin Photography, and OB Communications. My name is Desmond Okraku Danso. You can call me Dessy Faden, and let's meet up on the next episode of this particular show. But don't forget to like, share, and comment. Have a great time. Bye-bye.